Well, good morning, guys. YouTube people, world, whoever, wherever. Welcome back to Half Fast 719. Little update on this brisk, cold morning. It's like 7 o'clock. I'll go drive the truck around willy-nilly. Just go drive until that code sets. So, might be going to Vegas. Might be going to Barstow. Might be going somewhere. Either way. I don't think that's cold enough. But anyway, a little update on this and the other bike. Alright, other bike. It's parts. Bike's missing some parts. No steering stabilizer. And it has this light. So, that being said, we have this light. So this Baja design light will not fit in that number plate right here. It's not deep enough. Yeah, it's not deep enough. So this one's got these extended things. I believe this tape is because some wires were chafing on this bike, because there's wires everywhere on this bike. So it was all this big old cluster of wires, which I think is just a blinker, which might get trimmed depending on where I'm going with this bike. Anyway, so yeah, steering stabilizer does fit on this bike. The triple clamp location for the old bike, or this stabilizer, was in these holes. So I grabbed this upper triple clamp and spun it around, lines right up, stuck some grease, cleaned this in here. This actually pivots. This silver thing pivots in here. So I cleaned everything up. I had to take the top triple clamp off, obviously, to get the bracketry on. So yeah, you just crack these screws loose, that screw loose, this bolt thing loose, and tapped it off. Obviously, you got to take the handlebar brackets. Can't remember what they're called, risers, whatever they're called. Anyway, you have to take those off. So took them all off. Got it on here. Obviously didn't put this on here because I rerouted my throttle cables and stuff. Throttle cables for the KTM is weird. They come up in front of the bars, inside the cockpit area, and I routed them that way. Just tucked them up under, tucked them over, because they were colliding with this. And when the throttle cable came, it was too much of it at an angle and hitting this. So when you would twist the throttle, it'd stick. It'd get stuck. It'd get stick. So routed them there. I think it's a lot cleaner look in this area. Way cleaner. So grips. I do have new grips. But I don't want to put them on yet. I don't want to put them on until I get my crash bars, handguard things. Anyway. So yeah. So light works. I'm not going to fire it up to show you guys the light, but the light works. Highs and lows. It is wired different from that bike to this bike. One of the wires from that bike goes to the ignition system, and it's tapped into the harness. And so I had to play with that off and on, off and on, off and on. And yeah, it ended up being a wire short in the Baja design harness. So tap the wire into the factory connector. Everything works, low, high, everything works. So don't know why they do it, but it wouldn't work on my bike. Also, I did find a connector. And yeah, so now I have light and check engine light. So before I changed the battery, and kid even said he changed the battery. I don't think he knew that there's a connector. So I plugged the connector. It was taped, electrical taped connector on the display, and the connector off of the harness was taped. So I was playing with it, and I was like, well, I'm going to plug it in, see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Blow a fuse? So I plugged it in, light came on. I was like, oh, that's cool. I did have to redo my blinkers, rewire them, and all that other junk. But anyway, they're on, they're done. Okay, so now to this pig. All right, so I messaged the kid and said, hey, I think it needs a new top end. I don't care, whatever. The kid is what he is, but yeah. So I couldn't get it started, so I stuck a borescope down there, down the spark plug hole, started looking around with a little camera, borescope camera, I should say, and I saw a bunch of black. And I said, well, top end's coming off. I see some scoring. So, didn't score, but there is score. I'll show you right now. Right now, I'm just cleaned up the cylinder head, or cleaning it up. Just checking for leaks on the cylinder. There is slight leak. I believe it's under this cylinder, under this valve. So I have the valve compressor tool out. I have millions of tools out, a bunch of crap going on, and yeah, I'm basically figuring all of this out on the head. The head looks good. I got new, oh yeah, I guess I could tell you, got new head gaskets coming. Expensive, stupid things. This gasket's like $7, and then that gasket's like $75. It's ridiculous. If you ask me, I'll tell you it's ridiculous. Anyway, head gasket, factory KTM head gasket. I ordered a new cylinder. Factory KTM wrist pin. Doesn't seem like it has too much wear on it. Nothing crazy. Circ clip. Pain in the butt to get out. Here we go. Here we go. The unveiling. Wowzer. Yeah, so I think it's a little more than I'd feel comfortable with a bore or a hone. So, and I cannot find a bigger size piston. So that's the issue right there. Yep. Well, this phone. Oh, the phone fits in there. So yeah, so that's what we got. And one piece of advice. So I ordered new head bolts, new washers. Yeah, one of the head bolts, it was this head bolt here in the front. I believe it started stripping out. I might have these wrong. It's actually this bolt. So I ordered new bolts, so I don't really care how those came out. I ordered new bolts, new washers, gaskets, exhaust gasket. Yeah, basically everything to do a top end. Comes with the cylinder, comes with the new piston, matched. New rings. New rings, wrist pin. Everything's brand new. So everything's gonna go in. Yeah, Yeah, so I got this out. I started doing it, and then I lost one of the little retainer clips and spent like 45 minutes under the toolbox looking for it, and it was tucked between the mat and the wheel. So yeah, kind of a pain in the butt. It's my fault because I was putting the clip in backwards, or the retainer. So this little piece here, the top hat thing, I was putting it upside down, and I was trying to feed the keepers in there, and they kept just coming out. So I took it all apart, and then I was like, oh, dummy. Anyway. So yeah, so this is what we got. Basically filling the chambers with this Tecron stuff. Some sort of fluid to get whatever. But yeah, cams look good. Everything looks good. It's just that cylinder. I don't know why, what happened, but yeah. And then KTM is dumb. I don't know why they do this, or if somebody did it playing a joke. But these washers are not on the bolts, like on the exterior. And the exterior of these brackets, they're in between the brackets. I don't know if a new guy started or why they do it like this, but I didn't know there was washers. So this sits right up here. So that hole right there. This sits like this. And yeah, I had the valve cover off. And I dropped one of these washers. Well, I dropped all the washers. All the washers just, right when I took the first bracket off, all the washers just ding-ding-ding-ding, sound like a slot machine. So one was tucked back behind the starter. One was sitting right in here. I think two hit the ground, and there's 6, and I could not find the other one. So guess where it went? Into the engine. So thankfully it went in under where the magneto is. And by the way, they're stainless steel, so they're not magnetized. So that was fun. So I was shoving a magnet down, kept shoving a magnet down. Yeah, and then I said, oh, let me go see if they're even magnetized. So I went to the bench, and nope, not magnetized. So stainless steel. Anyway, I couldn't find it anywhere. Tore the whole garage apart. Thought maybe it rolled somewhere. Was under the cars. Figured it rolled somewhere. This oil thing wasn't here. That is fresh oil, by the way. It's dirty fresh oil. So I cracked this case, and behind the magneto stator thing on the bottom, the washer was sitting straight like that. So folded it down, pulled it out, celebrated with a go to bed. So yeah, word to the wise, if you're gonna do this, leave the valve cover on if you can. If not, pack these holes. And then obviously when I did the circlip, I did put the rag in there, so the rag was all in here before I pulled that circlip out. So anyway, that's my issue. So bad fuel. I'm assuming bad fuel could have caused that because it is on the intake side. All the scoring is on the intake side. So it's all right there. So this is your intake. Your throttle body sits right here. Intake. Bad fuel. Dirty air filter. And this filter was gross dirty. So, yeah. Anyway, pain in the butt. Doing this whole top end wasn't actually that bad. Actually tore it all apart in probably, I don't know, 20 minutes. The hardest part was trying to figure out how to get this header pipe off. And I still don't know how to get it off. So it's just sitting in here. Coolant did not look the greatest. Kind of looked cooked. Here's the coolant. Weird. That's a weird coolant because this came out of the cylinder head. Anyway, so it's going to get obviously fresh oil change, new coolant, new cylinder. The crank does look good. I checked the tolerance with the feeler gauge between the crank and the connecting rod. I can't barely get anything in there. I can't remember what it was, but I think 8 thousandths was spec and was the top end of spec, and I couldn't fit a 5. 2 thousandths, 1 thousandths fit in like nothing. 5 was a little snug, and 7, 8 was not going in, and it does not have any up and down play. You do have to pull this bolt out. This is more of a mental note for me. You pull this bolt out that has this washer, so I just put this washer on this bolt so I don't lose it. But anyway, you pull this bolt out, you put it to top dead center, you do whatever, you run that bolt without the washer back in, it locks it into top dead center, and then this way when you put it all back together, remember, I'm gonna pull it out. You gotta remember to pull that bolt out and put the washer back on. So I'm gonna hide the key somewhere. I wonder if it's the same key. I wonder if these are kind of the same. Oh, looks a little different. Yeah, it's different. But yeah, so that's what we found with the 2015 KTM. It needs a new top end, like I suggested. I was hoping it was fuel related. It's not fuel related. Well, it is fuel related, but my compression test was only getting 30 psi, so that should have been a sign right there. I just didn't know if the compression was decompression, but I forgot that gauge setup I have holds pressure. It doesn't release pressure out of the gauge. So whatever the pressure initially hits, that's the pressure stored is on the gauge. And then so I wide open throttle, bump it. You're supposed to bump it like 4 times, and then that's your pressure. So most people are getting 95 to 140 psi out of these. So when I slap it all back together, I'll do another test, and it'll probably bloop, 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 be a big old thumper, and this bike will be ready to roll. I think this bike just needs some, I think it needs, the chain looks good, sprocket looks good, the rear tire is pretty bald, front tire is good. I think I'm just going to run it. I think we're just going to run it, sell it, or see if the kid wants it, and go from there. I put the handguards from this bike on this one. Doesn't look too bad. But anyway, we'll see. I'll clean it all up, obviously. I didn't want to clean it all up before I start tearing it apart, even though I should have. But yeah, we'll get it all cleaned up and possibly sell it or ride it. So I do have to order an air filter. I'm gonna order an air filter and a rear tire and go from there. I think that's all it really needs. It's got a mirror, handguards, levers, foot pegs are junk, but they're fine. Yeah, it just needs air filter and tire and more oil. Alright guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, do what you guys do. And yeah, I ordered a chin mount for the helmet for the GoPro. So when that comes in, we'll do a GoPro video riding it. Hopefully it's some cool footage. And I got some tool bags coming because can't really put too much on these fenders because it's such a small, short fender. So I ordered just a KTM bag. It's just a KTM small bag. And then I ordered a front one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll throw them on that one. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, do what you guys do. Let me know what you guys think. Later.